Fellow St. Lucians, we are back with you, and the next sector of our discussion will be education, and I will allow Rayneau to air his views, and I will in turn give you my views on it. Rayneau, your views concerning the level, what the education is being offered to our students today based on the number of the thousands of children leaving school today, and the chance of getting a job are pretty dismal.
Right. Mr. Chasney, the chances of getting a job are dismal for one reason. The students are not prepared for the world of work. Our education system has been based too much on the academic side of it rather than the vocational side of it. And I say this because, you know, again, if we go back into history, you will see that many St. Lucians left St. Lucia even in the 50s and 60s and went into the US, went into the UK, went to as far to Guyana to work as tradespeople and sent monies back into St. Lucia, which kept St. Lucia going at the time. Over the last 20 years, if we take a record, although our population grew, our record of those people going out to work outside has reduced significantly.
Why?
We cannot even find tradespeople in St. Lucia, and as a contractor, I have had to bring in foreigners to do menial, simple, what I would call menial, simple jobs in St. Lucia when it comes to carpenters and artisans and masons, because we have not trained our people for that world of work. And this is very important for us to move to a new level. Those people, Mr. Chasney, who wants to become lawyers and doctors and technologists, they get the basic from school. If they are just normally can do it, they will move on and they'll continue to do it. But the number that we have produced locally cannot compare to showing us that we need to continue in that trend and we need to change our thinking and change the way we do things very fast.
Yeah, now, that is one part of it. The other part which I want to address is with the vocational school that you mentioned there. I mean, you're in the construction industry. You know you can use plumbers, you can use carpenters, you can use masons, you can use electricians. I mean, let's face it, because sometimes even we ourselves in our sphere of business, it is so difficult to get a good electrician. You have to say, well, I'm busy, can I come in 5 days' time? And that doesn't make sense because you want to get things done now. By the same token, there are people in St. Lucia that are excellent artisans that work extremely well. I mean, I'm in the throes now of building a small bungalow in the south, and I met a St. Lucian guy who lived in St. Croix, and it's amazing. Within 3.5 months, you know, the home is nearly completed, and when I see the organization, and people like that should be sort of role models for what goes on. A person like you, for instance, I know your business has grown quite large now, and it may be difficult for you to focus on one area, but you have been excellent in, I mean, I went to the project that you did at Monchy. You built, I think, is it 20 homes you built there?
42.
Yeah, how many?
42.
42 homes, and I took pictures of it, and I'm so amazed and proud of what you have done, because it's unbelievable. And I know you probably did that in about 1.5 years.
No. We had 8 months to complete.
8 months. And that's your own personal project. And I'm talking about...
Oh, no, my personal project?
Yeah.
Oh, my personal project. No, I had just done this project just to keep workers at work.
Oh, but you're doing another project?
I'm doing a project for government now.
Yeah. How many homes are you doing?
42 houses.
Yeah. How
and then we had 8 months to do it. It's going to be completed at the end of this month.
You'll finish all 42?
All 42, yes.
What, 2-bedroom homes? What are they?
They're 2-bedroom homes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Out of wood or concrete?
Concrete.
Yeah, that's fantastic. On how many acres of land?
It's a project that government already had.
Okay.
The lots were already there, and they've just done the houses on it.
Now, you know, talking about, as you talk about that, I want to come back to the planning department, but before we go there, I want to concentrate on what should be done. You know, agriculture at one stage now, because of the academics in St. Lucia, seemed like a dirty word. And when you look at many bright St. Lucians who have good degrees in agriculture, instead of getting into the agricultural field, they are in fact being employed in other areas which they're not geared for. And to me, that doesn't make much sense. But, you know, I'm not an agriculturist, but I remember what bananas did for us for 40 years, okay? And the ordinary farmer, when somebody does something for 35, 40 years, they understand it. And in my view, there is a rule for bananas. I mean, because they know how to plant the bananas. And Trinidad, we buy a lot from Trinidad, and we can in fact sell to Trinidad. I know that right now Trinidad does get their bananas from Ecuador, but by the same token, I understand why. Because a farmer in Ecuador probably gets $2 a day, whereas here it's probably 4 or 5 times that. And
no, it's like a lot more. It's like $20 minimum.
That's what I'm saying. No, so okay.
Right. So, but when you say bananas, Mr. Chasney.
Yeah.
I don't say bananas. I say agriculture.
Okay.
And the reason I say agriculture is because our ability to compete in bananas on the world market is no longer.
Yeah. But
what we need to move in is to agriculture, where we move into more sophisticated crops.
Yeah.
Medicinal agriculture has continued to grow and continues to be a very big industry, which is where we need to go, especially because of our wages. Agriculture will not continue to grow in any country if we depend on the natives of the country to do agriculture.
Yeah, but
historically, Mr. Chasney,
yes,
the UK, the US, if there are no Mexicans in the US, there's no food in the US.
Yeah.
Americans, whether be foreign Americans, but once they become an American, do not want to get into agriculture. It's the same with everywhere. We need to look at it and see. Unless we do not allow foreigners who wants and is willing to work the land and get into agriculture, we are not going to do well in agriculture.
Yeah, but Rayneau, here's my take about the banana situation, but I wasn't quite finished. You have the STEP program in St. Lucia, okay? And I'm saying those STEP people should be put into that field, okay? Because they are people with a limited education who can do limited work. But let us face it, to weed and to plant a banana tree does not take a lot of skill, especially when you have people with farms. But I wasn't quite finished, and you are so right. Take Taiwan as an example. Taiwan has brought in the fish farms, the tilapia. 2 years ago or last year, they produced 90,000 kilos of tilapia, okay? Thousands of exoras, okay? The exoras, the Martinians would buy them, okay? Now, these are what I call clean agricultural projects. So we need to work closer, although we are close to Taiwan, we need to work that much closer because they are providing the funding and the expertise, and the technology to carry it. And you are so right. And that should be done. And there are other areas that can be explored to create what you're saying there, and to show them that there is. Because as I was telling you earlier on, in the UK, because of the reduction in taxation, some 700,000 new jobs were created. And out of those, 30% were self-employed. We need for people like you and me to probably contribute towards a little fund whereby you can have 4 or 5 strong people to deal with the students who are leaving school, to hold their hand, take them forward and explain to them, yes, it can be done. Show them where we came from. They can replicate what we have done. Not all will do it, but some will do it. I gave a talk about maybe 3 months ago at the Sir Arthur Lewis College. I answered the questions. I told them to come. I haven't seen any of them come to me as yet. I hope 1 or 2 will come, because they are 1 or 2 good people, because they did ask some very good questions. Yeah, and you were telling me.
But Mr. Chasney, you see, again, we must look at it realistically. A lot of people will talk the talk.
Yes.
They will not walk the walk.
That's true, yeah. But why? You know why, Andrew? Because they feel that they look at it like a barrier. When a man doesn't have a vision, or a young boy, he doesn't see. And that's why I'm saying you have to hold their hand, and we have to assist them for at least 3 to 4 months to see something grow. It's just like, just to change the subject slightly, when I keep telling people about saving money, they say, but I don't have any money to save. I say, look at me. If you put aside $10 a month, just $10, at the end of the year you have $120. It gives you a new perspective and a vision of what can be done. Nothing starts big. Everything starts small. When you were born as a baby, you creep and you take 2 steps. That's what life is about. Yeah.
And that's the only way it works.
Yeah.
Back to the agriculture. We must drive and continue to drive agriculture, but we will not be able to be sustainable in agriculture or do well in agriculture anymore unless we import workers for the agricultural industry.
Yeah.
Mr. Charles, if you go back to the 1800s,
Right.
From the 1800s, they took slaves. The Europeans were here. The Europeans did not want to work. They brought slaves out of Africa to work. And as we move forward, during when there was the abolition of slavery, they brought in the Indians and they brought in the different groups of people to work because the natives no longer wanted to work. It is no different now than it was 200 years ago. If we are to do anything in agriculture that is going to be sustainable, we must allow foreigners. Back to foreigners now. If St. Lucia is supposed to grow and do well, the mentality of I do not want foreigners to come here must cut out.
Correct.
There must be an open book. Allow any foreigner to come in. Now when I say foreigner, I do not mean Caribbean foreigners. Caribbean people I do not see as foreigners. I see them as Caribbean people. We're talking about people from Romania and from the Philippines and from Russia and from countries that you've never heard about. Those big, massive countries have people who are exposed and are willing to work and go the extra 5 miles to make it work. People from around us are not willing to do that. And that is what we need to encourage and bring in. Unless we cannot understand the importance of doing it, we are going nowhere.
Now, you see, I didn't want to bring that subject up, but I have said it for the last few years because it's a very sensitive subject as far as bringing people in. The first thing they may say to you, why are you bringing people when we have 30% unemployment? But as you rightly pointed out, they are not prepared to do the work it takes to drive the country. Now, I have been to the Philippines, okay? More than that, in the shipping business, I had Filipinos as captains, as engineers, and it is unbelievable, the discipline of those people.
Beyond,
okay?
Yes.
Now, I said before, again with the agricultural field, you know, St. Lucia only has 170,000 people. That's very small.
That is extremely small.
We can do another 30,000 people comfortably when you look at the amount of land here. And as you bring in new cultures, bring in new ideas, and I have to agree with you, you are very, very correct. And another thing which bothers me for years, and having discussed that with many, many lawyers on it, why do we have to have something called an alien's license? This is an antiquated law. If government has to be cautious in who they allow to come here, and we are intelligent enough, we have enough bright people in the legal field, you prepare an affidavit, okay, with 40, 50 questions, pertinent questions, and you get those people to sign it under oath, and if they are found lying, then they are thrown off the island, okay? And this is how it should be done, because this thing of charging a man $15,000 EC or $5,000
and takes forever for it to go through as well.
And it is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So please, we, on behalf of Mr. Gajadhar and myself, we are appealing to the powers that be. Please listen, think. We are here to help, not to destroy. Fellow St. Lucians, we're going to take a second break. We'll be right back.